Hello, everyone. We are back. Next talk is about merchants of the future strategy built on insights and analytics, and it's provided to us by Irena from Pricewaterhouse. Hi, Irena.
Hi, how are you? Hi, everybody.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm hosting this track for now. After which there will be another host taking over since we have a lot of content today. How are you?
Good. It's morning here, 5 a.m. in Toronto.
5
So,
a.m.
so if you,
Sorry if we put you up too early to
no,
do
it's
this
all
talk.
good.
I mean, it's all 11 here where I'm from. I wouldn't want to take up any more of your time. Please
Yeah,
start your presentation.
sure. Thank you very much. So, hi, everybody. What I would like to talk to you today about really is merchandising, retail industry, and how it's important to build the merchandising and strategy that's based on insights and analytics. So, the way consumers shop has transformed the retail industry. And as I'm sure some of you are shopping, and all of us probably we noticed even ourselves change the way we shop throughout the years. So, I would say consumers are becoming far more informed, and product choices are multiplying rapidly due to technological advances. Consumers are always on with real time access to inventory, and they're demanding a seamless experience across channel and device. So, as a result of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, digital transformation is accelerating at unprecedented speed in retail industry, and it has made clear importance of technology and analytics and AI to the industry. So retailers are reevaluating. So we've seen retailers start reevaluating their footprint. Some retailers started to renovate their stores to make more space for e-commerce fulfillment. Other retailers are opening new, smaller stores closer to areas where customers live and shop. So the shift of consumer spending to the digital realm is driving the transformation of physical retail into this immersive experience, or everyone's been talking and coined a new term now, which is called the phygital experience. So, as pandemic restrictions continue to ease, customers will expect a channel, I would say, channel-less environment where everything has emerged and customers transact seamlessly with all of them. So these changes are creating increasing pressure on retail companies to be highly customer centric and responsive to demand fluctuations. So shorter planning and purchasing cycles are becoming the new norm. There's a need for ad hoc and real time planning, which allows for flexible reaction to changing demand or supply situations. Omni-channel, omni-fulfillment, and micro-fulfillment strategies that reduce lead time are required. Also, demand for advanced forecasting techniques and models leveraging artificial intelligence and machine learning. So, as the retail industry continues to grow very or more hyper competitive, and the balance of power continues to shift from the retailer to the customer, companies need to focus on customer centricity in their merchandising planning just as much as they have in other areas if they want to thrive. So, putting customers first in all aspects of their retail operations. So, we're talking from the merchandise planning to supply chain to marketing to operations to merchandising. So, all of this has become a critical shift that organizations will need to make. So, with all having said all this, there's a significant opportunity to evolve the role and function of merchandising. So, the merchandising formula that made retailers successful in the past is no longer driving growth. the role of the merchandising has undergone changes over the past 20 plus years. In the 80s, humans just went globally around the showrooms and they would just pick products and price each product for the customer. In the 90s and 2000s, we've seen a rise of assortment planning solutions that failed to give time back to merchants. So, for example, I see this to this day, category managers, merchants, maintaining their assortment and category assortment on Excel spreadsheets. Very manual, very inundated, but I'm surprised that I still see it today with all this technology available. So I would say most merchants are still doing same thing that they've done 20 years ago. And this is the reason why merchandising today requires a complete, I would say, evolution or a revamp. So how retailers engage and transact and service customers is changing every day. So retailers that are investing heavily in new technologies are going to be better positioned to win in this digital ecosystem. Retailers also need to understand customer data as well as their behavior. So merchants now, I would say, have more access to data that will provide them a 360-degree view of the customer. So they should leverage their transaction history collected at physical stores and combine it with shoppers' digital footprint. And I would say that this data is so powerful because not only it can help retailers leverage their data to build business and drive growth, but it will also help with profitability with the merchandise assortment. So the third component is while automation, and I've seen some parts of automation infiltrate some retailers' functions and processes, it has not yet impacted merchandising. So retailers will definitely need to invest if they want to deliver the efficiency and precision that customers require today. So the new role of the merchant should be focused on delivering the retailer's purpose to customers. Retailers who don't have merchants, I would call, of the future and the new mindset will spend their time firefighting rather than working on the strategy and understanding their customers. So, what I found throughout my career and even recently working with PwC is that in some cases I see that retailers are collecting data, but they are either collecting the wrong data or they don't know how to translate the data they have into executable business strategies in their assortments. So many times I've heard, oh, we have so much of data and we don't know what to do with it. So this is just the standard everyday thing that I keep hearing. And, we have the data, but we don't know what to do with it. So I think it's important to know the things that influence consumers to make the purchasing they did in store versus online or on their phones is crucial information that planners and category managers need to understand in order to devise future strategies. So this information can translate into the creation of customer-centric strategies in top-down planning, promotions, sales management, and overall assortment mix. Merchants need to become merchants of the future, or even now, I would say, they need to become creative analyzers and refine curated assortment and develop innovative concepts by combining financial analysis with emerging trends. They can no longer be product-centric and executing day-to-day product and inventory tasks, but rather spend their energy on gathering and analyzing data in order to develop the right product for the right customer. And finally, they can no longer only connect with customer through product assortment in stores or online, but need to be a marketer and the merchant, perfecting to the customer and establishing meaningful relationships. So I would say this is going to be a critical part for the future for the retailers, is creating that merchant mindset. And in order to do this, relooking at your not only corporate culture is also going to be crucial, because now it's not, and this is only not pertaining just to merchandising, but I would say to from supply chains to store operations, everyone will have to now become creative analyzers in their functions to ensure that the customers are being understood and customer needs are being met. So how to do this is that obviously technology can give merchandising more time to focus on creating and perfecting strategies and assortments. Merchandising is going to be more critical and creative than ever. That's going to be focused on activities that make the role more engaging, energizing and fulfilling, and less administrative and operational. Many merchants today spend 80%, if not more, of their time on operational activities like managing inventory and assortment. And I can speak to this. I was a merchant or category manager myself with a couple of retailers. And I can say the amount of times that you spend when you're planning for flyers, planning for promotions, when you're looking at the inventory, receiving emails from the stores on out of stock, etc. So a lot of these things are very administrative, and definitely technology and AI can help, in specifically in this area. So leading retailers have started to automate processes around inventory and even assortment selection. So the new role of merchandising will spend over 80% of time creating customer-driven strategies and perfecting assortments to be more curated and relevant. So artificial intelligence and computers will take over the automation process of execution, basically operational activities. So just to give you a couple, is the demand management is one key area where AI is going to be able to aggregate patterns in buying behavior to predict demand on a granular level. Being able to convert this insight into automated alerts or decisions can ensure that high demand products remain in stock, especially in those locations or channels which the AI has identified as important. The second one, I would say, is a huge benefit in AI is automated inventory management. And this would be a huge benefit, definitely in retail, because not only it can allocate stock to the store clusters where the highest demand is going to occur, but it can reallocate from stores with lower demand and keep items moving through the supply chain as smooth and continuous, as a smooth and continuous flow. Third opportunity would be markdown and repricing. This could be both automated by different kinds of algorithms based on competitor price, early warning demand signals that are apparent to the algorithm, but invisible to the human eye. And in this case, overstock is avoided and best possible price is attained every time. Store layout is fourth one that could be optimized using artificial intelligence that's derived insights about customer priorities, habits in a local area, making sure that you're placing the products in the right place, at the right height, and within the right offer to entice and make a sale. So all this would be extremely beneficial, and merchants would now be able to, utilize tools and recognize and respond to customer intelligence. They would be able to combine the data with emerging trends to deliver new concepts. And now they would not only be able to initiate any of the new projects or innovation in their categories, but they'll also now be able to collaborate and spend more time working with their vendors, working with their suppliers to understand their customers better. And they can even share the information that's relevant to each other from the data. And then they can tailor marketing messages to customers by channel, and they would be able to develop localized product assortments. So this definitely would be a massive opportunity for any merchant, I'm sure that you speak to, or if we have any merchants in this session, I'm sure they would understand the opportunities that I'm speaking to here. And besides only in terms of technology, I would say the new merchant expectations are even further enabled by intelligent automation. There would be huge opportunities in terms of real-time visibility and analytics to help make the right buys and at the right time. Smart space planning processes that connects with assortment planning systems. And what I'm going to do is just give you now a couple of examples that's what some of the retailers are doing. So for example, one of top Canadian high-end menswear retailers has data analytics revealed surprising insights about their youngest customer base. And what they found that their customer base often shops above lower price point products. And artificial intelligence also provided new insight about this menswear store's core customers. So what they found is that they would hit companies' outlet stores more than expected. And now every time this retailer encounters a customer from one of its target segments, they can immediately identify brands that will have the greatest appeal. So another retailer manages their content using image recognition to automate the tagging of product attributes. A leading retailer uses internal and publicly available external data to identify trends in real time and predict their strength and longevity using machine learning algorithms. One retailer uses location-based data that can inform future trends that might be affected by weather, national holidays, or sporting events. And there's multiple opportunities. I mean, for example, like best prices can be determined based on demand and trend signals. In other use of intelligent automation. Physical stores can replenish, for example, or update selections based on the local online interest in that area. There could be opportunities for promotion, bundles, collections, and other merchandising planning that can be automatically suggested by smart algorithms. So there's numerous opportunities and new merchant expectations could be enabled by. So how do we build a customer-centric merchandising capability in today's environment? So what I found is, as I mentioned earlier, is that some retailers struggle to build customer-centric organizations, and part of the challenge is the volume and variety of data that exists now is overwhelming. Some companies don't have the systems and technology to segment and profile their customers. Others lack the processes and operational capabilities to target them with personalized communications and experiences. Retailers are also experiencing functional silos that prevent from customer data sharing. And I can again speak to this because, everyone, all these different areas within business, like we have from supply chain, marketing, operations, etc., everyone is just working in their own bubble, and it's very rare where you see different functional groups, sometimes working together. However, this will be required right now and in the future. And what I found is because retailers are experiencing these functional silos, it is preventing this whole customer data sharing. And because of that, there's also no common definition on customer centricity. There's insufficient expertise also in data analytics. A lot of retailers, and I would say some CPG companies, do have insufficient expertise in this area. And they're also missing key technology platforms to manage the data. So I would say the leading merchandising organizations that are operating in an analytics-based world are already, utilizing automation and AI are here. And there are some retailers that definitely are there, but I would say majority, and what I've seen here in Canada, definitely we're still behind. So it will be important for companies to invest in developing innovative analytics capabilities that provide and combine product, customer, and market level data to drive better decisions. Capturing and properly utilizing the information obtained from predictive analytics will play a significant role in the ability of retailers to embrace customer centricity. And this includes the ability to predict customers' desires and buying patterns, as well as where they shop and why. So it is not just the casual relationships that are important, but all the inventory in the store and all the assortments have a core relationship with a specific customer segment, type of buyer behavior, and type of purchasing journey. So retailers will need to employ predictive analytics to map out the customer's purchasing journey and to fully understand the components that drive the customer to the store or website and influence the way they ultimately buy or don't buy the product. Retailer will also need to transform the entire merchandising process, as more roles will have to be taken over by smart algorithms, artificial intelligence, and platform retailing solution. So traditional ways of thinking will have to be replaced with more effective data-driven merchandising processes that can actually react in real time to actual demand. So retailers should invest in tools to recognize and respond to customer intelligence and pivot. So this is a critical piece, that they need to pivot from product-centric to customer-centric. And this will allow for the right assortment for the right customers, and not necessarily all customers, right? So it is going to be critical in achieving the right mix of products that will help to drive sales by ensuring that margin boosting products are never out of stock and that the customers are motivated to buy. So having a wide assortment does not always mean you're going to drive more sales. It is often the case that merchants can increase sales by eliminating some SKUs and doing SKU rationalization. So the critical message is the movement from this whole product-centric to customer-centric, and making sure that you're understanding your customer in and motivations that makes them buy the products. And lastly, and I think extremely important for companies, they will have to build customer-centric organizational culture. At most retailers, the culture remains product-focused or sales-driven, and customer centricity is considered a priority for certain functions like marketing or store operations or sales. And to successfully implement a customer-centric strategy and operating model, a company must have a culture that aligns with them and leaders who cultivate the necessary mindset and values in their employees. And in conclusion, I would say that it is essential that retailers adopt and maintain a digital first strategy with targeted investment in platform retailing, digital talent, and an integrated online and omni-channel retail model. Secondly, every digital touch point with the customer is an opportunity to gather data. And I would say this is the bread and butter of your digital first strategy. So make sure you take this opportunity. Data also needs to flow freely through the supply chain, store operations, merchandising, among all other partners and stakeholders. So connecting the dots by creating a custom solution or using a platform retailing solution. I believe that not all retailers will see importance of investing in this area, and in my opinion, they will disappear. I do think that the retailers that make the required investment will live to see artificial intelligence transform their industry with better processes and closer relationships with the customers they serve. So this is the talk that I had for you. Hopefully you enjoyed. And hopefully you enjoyed the conversation. I left my contact information for any questions you may have. Feel free to also reach out to me through LinkedIn if you like, email, but I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has.
I thank you for that wonderful talk. There is one question, we have a bit time for it, but it's taking a little bit of focus away from the merchandising aspect and being directed at you as a consultant. Can you comment on how the current epidemic situation kind of did it have an impact on employee burnout in the consulting business regarding retail, or and if it did, how have you managed to handle it?
So, so you're saying employee burnout in terms of in consulting industry.
In the
So
consulting industry?
yeah, so I would say within consulting space, at least I could speak to Canada. PwC has done a great job in terms of taking care of their employees during pandemic. And one of the things that we found even prior to pandemic is working from home. We already started working from home before, and transitioning to this whole working from home was not a challenge for us from the technology perspective. What we did find is before, anytime we had a project with a client, we had to be on site. And one of the things that pandemic has taught us was to communicate virtually with the clients, and not only dealing with workshops. All of a sudden, we had to conduct workshops virtually. So at the beginning, I would say it was a challenge, but we ended up managing it, and it's working really well now that some clients are preferring, this whole hybrid model of maybe not being on site constantly, but kind of being on site at some point. To answer your second question, in terms of a burnout, definitely we did find at the beginning for a lot of us to learn to separate personal life, I would say, and like kind of home and work. And what I found, at least for me, with having two small kids, it was a bit of a challenge at the beginning because, you had all of a sudden lunches, everything is like being lost, time frames are being lost, and what PwC was doing is making sure that the leadership communicated with their teams on a regular basis, and they did understand the impacts, and they have provided extra time off for people that needed it. And they were also coordinating and putting people in various projects as well. to make sure that we were all obviously utilized, but they also hired new people. So we had quite a lot of people that onboarded as well in the practice during pandemic, because it has increased a lot of definitely work with the clients. So
I'm
hope
sorry,
I,
it seems that I was muted. There were a couple of really interesting things that you said before, but we're kind of getting the end of this slot.
sure.
I just wanted to leave a quote that I heard on some other talk regarding the whole pandemic situation and remote work. This is mostly in regards to AI, to what the IT industry. Uh, the person said that what we've seen with the pandemic is that we had to work from home and remotely, and in terms of productivity, nothing changed, at least for the IT industry. This is something that happened. For other industries, as you have mentioned, the retail industry kind of had to adapt a bit, but you guys kind of learned how to adapt and to not lose on productivity, and maybe even in some cases increase it. So
It's
uh,
increased for sure.
yeah, because
Yeah,
people have more control over their time and
exactly.
location, and it kind of gives the autonomy of working back to the employees. Uh,
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Irina, for this amazing talk and this comment on the whole situation in the consulting business. Uh, I, if do you have anything else you want to mention to the audience quickly before we cut off?
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure. I hope everyone enjoyed the talk, and yeah, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And yeah, looking forward to connecting to everybody. And thank you again.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Irena.
Bye.
We'll see you later. Okay, guys, so that was Irena with her talk. Next up, we have Marco Kangerga with his talk on transforming trading through advanced analysis of unstructured documents. And on this track, we're running a bit late, but it's okay. We have a lunch break afterwards. On this track, as host, Ognian will be substituting for me. So, see you later.